If you'd all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Winchester.
Here.
Ryan.
Here.
Burton.
Here.
Ruth.
Here.
Collis.
Agenda, oh, I'm here. That goes without saying. Agenda approval.
I move to approve the agenda.
Before we make the motion to approve, do I need to pull the minutes down, or can we just address that and then go ahead and approve these?
Oh, that's in the consent agenda. We can do that next.
Okay.
We can do it.
But can we do it there, so we don't have to pull it down?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we got a motion to approve the agenda by Karen Winchester.
Support?
Motion by Derek Burton. We need a roll call, please.
Winchester.
Yes.
Ryan. Burton.
Yes.
Ruth.
Yes.
Collis.
Yes. Motion carries 5-0. Now, under consent agenda, any additions or deletions to the minutes? There is one. In the minutes for September 18th on page 2, nope, on page 3. Down under where it says, under motion by Clerk Winchester to end closed session, under that we have item number 1, no board, the board took no action. Then if you go under item number 2, there's a motion to approve item number 2, but right under that, in number 2, it says recess into closed session to consult with legal counsel, and there's a paragraph there, and it says this item was addressed under number 1. That item should be moved up under number 1.
Okay.
It just is a little less confusing.
So I would move to approve the consent agenda as amended.
Support by Winchester, or motion by Winchester, support by Ruth. And we need a roll call again.
Ryan.
Yes.
Burton.
Yes.
Ruth.
Yes.
Winchester.
Yes.
Collis.
Yes. Motion carries 5-0. Now we go on to public hearings and presentations. Bob Hoffman had called me and asked if he could make a short presentation in front of the board for the Oakland County Commissioners. He then called as I came in the door, and he's running about 15 minutes behind. So when he gets here, I'll go back. It has to do with parks. He was asked to deliver it. So I'll go back to that. But in the meantime, we'll go ahead and go to reports.
Oh, he's not on the agenda, though.
Well, he would have made it under public comment,
Oh,
but
I see. Okay, gotcha.
if he's here, we'll fit it in, but somewhere there. So, reports, I'll start with Mr. Burton.
Nothing for me this month.
Mr. Ruth, this is going to be your last report as a trustee.
County Commission did not meet, so no report.
Okay. Karen?
Absent voter ballots are available, and early voting starts October 26th and runs through November 3rd.
Okay. And Jen Ryan, treasurer?
Nothing for me.
The quarterly report is in the consent agenda. And under the supervisor. So late this afternoon, we got hit with information that there's going to be a power outage in the township scheduled for Friday night from 11 p.m. until 7 a.m. Saturday morning. We have had varied and different reports as to whether it covers the whole township, just parts of the township. I heard from somebody else that they were told it affects 2,600 residents. The fire chiefs don't know anything about it. The police chief doesn't know anything about it. I have been on the phone with the Community Affairs Director for Consumers, Lauren Royston. She was not able to find anything on her computer, so she is looking into it. I see there are different posts on Facebook that keep popping up. Once we find out exactly what it is and what areas are impacted, we will let people know. The biggest concern I had when it first came out was 11 o'clock at night could leave hundreds of people between the Moose and the wedding venues in the middle of a party, and literally all of a sudden, all the lights go out. My other concern was for the nursing homes and the older folks that rely on oxygen. We've had no notification at our level. Apparently, the school received notification because they moved the time of the football game forward. But we've never heard anything. So we have reached out to consumers. When they finally get back with us, we will be out on social media, gov delivery, and all of the ways we can to let people know.
Well, hopefully it'll be in time, because
Well,
She
yeah,
is.
we're stuck.
Yeah.
She sent me a text just before we came upstairs, because I said I'm going into the meeting and people want to know. She said, I've not been able to find anything yet, so we are working on it. When we do, the police chief, the fire chiefs, they will know. But right now, none of us have heard anything other than the school's got a call. So, there's that information. I'm sorry?
yeah, the October 25th.
Well,
Yes.
yeah, so they actually had 3 dates. Our biggest concern was the first one, but they had 3 dates. This Friday, the next Friday, and then I've heard that the third Friday was if they didn't finish in the first 2. The problem is we don't know what area that's covered. When Karen, I think you called, she went through customer service, and the answer she got was the person with the postcard went home.
Yeah.
This was a postcard.
They were circulating, they said they mailed out to everybody on the 11th. That's not enough time to get through the
But
post.
our office never received
We never-
anything.
And they claim they sent us 4 different notices because we have accounts for street lighting
Yeah.
and several other
And,
accounts.
and
so-
we've not received, the last notification I got from them was on a public hearing notice, which we typically get those. So, I don't mean to be punny, but
Astonishing.
we've basically been left in the dark before they turned the power off.
That's right.
So we will have to, I'm hoping that either sometime this evening or first thing in the morning, we're gonna know something. So we'll have to go from there. Okay, we will go into public comment on agenda items only. Members of the public can address the board on agenda items only once recognized by the supervisor. Comments are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes. The board may extend this time by a majority vote. Prior to addressing the board, members of the public shall state their name and address for the record. A second public comment is available after new business for all other comments. Thank you for your cooperation. Anyone for public comment? My usual suspects are all looking down. All right. Before we go into old business, I'm going to take a moment for public comment. So a month ago, I came up here and I drug Karen up here. This time, Mr. Ruth, it's your turn. So I've been here for 8 of your 20 years, but we as a community want to thank you for 20 years of service.
Thank you very much.
And send you off that, and we have some cake back there. When we're done, everybody's invited to have a piece, and
Okay, thank you very much.
we'll do that. Yeah, if you want to take a minute to get your piece of cake, we can eat it.
Sure.
Eat it during the meeting? Oh, okay.
Everybody's talking at the same time.
Well, I'm not eating in front of an audience and on TV.
Uh-huh, right. We're on
Or
YouTube.
on YouTube, I mean.
Yeah, there you go.
Steve, we gotta get a picture of you.
Just when I was gonna complain we don't have any refreshments tonight. Boy, this is getting to be a nice habit. consumers would notify the residents affected.
They said they sent out postcards
To
on the
everybody?
11th.
But it sounds like it's spotty on who actually sees.
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
It's hard to believe that it's been 20 years.
Yeah, that's a,
Long time.
yeah. And you're 20 as well, right?
25.
25. Oh, that looks good.
Good cake.
There you go, Steve.
It's very good.
Does it got raspberry in it? Is that what that is? Strawberry.
We thought your last meeting was gonna be in November, and then Karen noticed, and went, it's this one.
Yeah, because they take office at noon on the 20th, which is the day of our meeting.
So I had to run around at the last minute.
Well, it's been fun, Steve.
It's been real. Tell you people how much fun it is.
Yes.
I will say, the thing I always appreciate about you, Steve, is you come with that data just like an engineer. I would expect nothing less from you.
So after tonight, Steve, you can take the target off your back.
Now, if you don't get any cake, it means you have to like move and support everything.
Well, I was gonna give that to Steve. Oh, I'll get cake. Don't worry.
Like I said, I've been here for 8 years, we've never done this before, and then we get 2 in 2 months.
Yeah, right.
We're gonna have to pick arbitrary milestones to start celebrating. We don't have snacks every.
I like the way you think.
Well, next month we'll have to celebrate the new board. So you got something right there.
Oh, yeah.
We'll need snacks for that.
And the strawberry matches the pink and the.
There's a lemonade here, lemonade and strawberry lemonade, if you want to drink.
What is this? A little bonus.
Later.
Bonus piece of chocolate.
Yeah.
Huh.
I guess I will take them.
Bet you more people would have ran had we started this, a couple months ago.
Well, I said the funny thing is, in 8 years, we've never done anything like this, and all of a sudden I had 2 in 2 months.
Uh-huh. Yeah, there you go. Uh-huh. Hey, there we go.
Jen said we need to start picking arbitrary things to celebrate, so we can have treats at the meeting. Is everybody back, sitting down?
Mhm.
Okay, so, we don't have any old business, we'll go into new business, the cell phone ordinance, Karen?
It's a small cell. We have a cellular ordinance for regular cell towers, but the FCC mandated that we allow the small cell, facilities, which they usually put them on telephone poles. They're just small things that,
Like boosters?
yeah. So anyway, because of that, we need to have the ordinance that allows us to permit it so that they just don't arbitrarily put it anywhere and we don't know where they're putting them. So this was the attorney that provided this for us. It is. It looks kind of scary.
Yeah, Steve, The cells are small, not the ordinance. What? Oh, we're just, gotcha. Okay. So, Chair would entertain a motion then?
I'd move to approve the small cell ordinance to Chapter 26 telecommunications.
Motion by Winchester, support? Come on, Steve.
Support?
We're giving them to you tonight. Is there any further discussion? Because it's an ordinance, do I need a roll call? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Second item under new business, the 2024-2025 budget amendment, proposed resolution 2022. You'll notice in the packet it says 2024, but we've already made that correction. It is indeed 2022.
Yes.
2024-22.
I'd move to approve the 2024-2025 budget amendments, proposed resolution 2024-22.
Support? Trustee Ruth? Any further discussion? Just for the record, decrease revenue amount by $57,668 and decrease the expense account by $57,668. Total revenue decrease and total expense is the same thing. So that's what this is for. Any other discussion? It's a resolution, I need a roll call.
Burton,
Yes.
Ruth,
Yes.
Winchester,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
Hollis,
Yes, motion carries 5-0. Number 3 on old business, or in new business, is PA 152 opt-out, proposed resolution 2024-23. Karen, you get that?
This is our annual opt-out based on the Public Act 152 of 2011. We just required to annually opt out.
And what is Public Act 152?
It's on the healthcare.
Oh. And we meet the criteria that allows us to do this?
Yes.
Correct. Okay. Chair would entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2024-23, PA 152 opt-out.
Support?
Support by Ruth. Any further discussion?
I'll just say I appreciate you including the act.
I didn't last time. I was like,
Yeah, because the last time I remember I was like,
yeah,
what
you're
the
like,
heck?
I know. I remembered.
Yeah.
Okay, any other discussion? None appearing? Roll call, please.
Ruth,
Yes.
Winchester,
Yes.
Ryan. Yes. Burton,
Yes.
Hollis,
Yes. Motion carries 5-0. And we will move on to policies and procedures and amendments, which is resolution 2024-24. Before we touch that resolution, if you look at the back of your packet, there's a draft from Norvell Township on public access policy, access to and video recording on township property. Does everybody see that?
Yep.
I added this in there because I wanted to talk to the board about this. There has been an uptick in southeast Michigan of groups coming into government buildings, and they declare that they have a right to see everything. It's a public building, they have access. Well, they do have a right to come in and they do have a right to film, but they don't have a right for everything. The problem is we have to have an ordinance in place that delineates what they have access to and what they can't. they don't get access to personal people's information. They don't get access to certain rooms in the building, if it's a break room for employees or that kind of stuff. So the other townships are adopting these policies so that when that group comes in, you're able to hand it to them. And this was a pretty good one. I'd like the board, I just wanted to show this to board and get your comments. I'd like to send this to the attorney and see what we come up with so that we have one. We've not had a problem with that. I know some of the other townships in the county have.
We've had two of them.
Probably schools
We've had two of them come in. There were two people at each time, and they were, you know, filming us and taking pictures and trying to provoke a response out of us.
Yeah, I know their whole mission is to sue,
Yes,
so they obviously get paid.
yep,
In the county I work in, this happened to a chief of police who's no longer employed with the agency he was at. I know it happened at Holly schools. I mean, they're all over the place. But yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. Listing responses so they can try to sue, so they can make money,
yep.
Right.
you know?
So it was, one of the things that came down the pike was we need to have an ordinance so that it defines where they can go and where they can't. The two we had, they weren't too difficult, they didn't demand to get into a bunch of stuff. But if we get somebody that starts to do that, then we have the ability to,
No, if I told him, I said, you're making me very uncomfortable by filming me, just sitting here filming me. And he said, well, not too bad.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why we can, this will help clear some of that up.
Yeah. And I've noticed the nicer they are to them, the less intrusive they become.
Yes.
Yep.
Become.
That's true.
Was this, or have you seen, I noticed a lot of the, I don't even know what they call it, the MTA discussion thing. I know they have been having a lot about public facilities.
Board, because I'd like to send it to, on a board meeting down the
Okay,
road.
so you want a consensus that we're interested?
Policy was
Right.
if there's any changes, put up with.
Yeah, and if it's a visual, 41, page 41.
41 for most of it.
Yeah, 41. Now, can I ask a question non-related? Okay, on this page 41 that we're gonna be discussing, if you look in the middle of the page, I mean, there's just a random sentence there that I feel like, it says the township may provide beverages during office hours.
That's so that, if we want a cup of coffee, we're allowed to. It's gotta
Oh,
be in
okay.
your policy and procedure.
Okay.
Otherwise, because you're not supposed to
Right.
spend money on,
Right. Yeah, okay.
yep.
And then the only other question I believe I had was related to the $10,000 item. Now, it said that must be reported to the board. Can that be reported in a way other than like the bills under the consent agenda? Or
Yeah.
just discussed?
As part of the supervisor's report.
Okay,
Right.
there you go,
So,
perfect.
let me clarify why we did this. It's been, the expenditures that the supervisor can authorize have been $1,000 for several years. In the past year, we had the furnace breakdown. That's not a $1,000 bill.
Right.
But it's wintertime, I
network
can't leave the
server.
building without heat.
Right.
So we've got to go ahead and do it. We had the power buttons for the handicap doors had gone out, and we called the company, and when they come out, they were old and they need to be repaired. They were almost $1,000 each. Well, again, we'd be without the door until I either had to call a special meeting or get there. With that particular one, I said, can you invoice them two separately? And that got me under the 1,000, so we went ahead and did it. But the best example was recently the server went out. And that one, what did that bill end up running?
It was just over 10,000.
That was even over 10,000. So, because we originally talked about raising it to 5 because of the, well, and we had a hot water heater go out, we had heat in your section of the building. The problem is, you can't do any of that stuff for $1,000 anymore, and it was
Right,
time to move
right.
it. I know other townships have it as high as 25,000. So, but we wanted to put that in there and move it, so that's what that's
Yeah,
for.
because we can have an emergency meeting if,
Right.
for something like that. And that's only for emergency expenditures, and so I wouldn't consider the doors an emergency expenditure, because we could have gotten by.
Well, but then you go a month without ADA
Yeah,
compliance.
well, that's a problem too. That's true.
So it's different kind of emergency to different people.
Yeah, so that's what sparked, that's what
Yeah,
sparked the change, and then we looked at I was looking at the other things we needed to kind of update.
Yeah, because last winter, like I said, we had furnace repair, hot water heater, even the hot water heater was over 1,000. And so it's just, that's what that's in there for. Is there any other discussion?
I did have one other thing actually about the italics thing. So on page 43, could we get away with just removing the vote of 3 members? Because if you notice, it says the policy procedure may be amended, added to, or repealed by a vote of 3 members or 4 members. Could we just omit the 3 members and just change it to the 4 members?
Well, no, oh, we could, but I guess,
Then we don't have to, keep going back and forth.
yes.
Because, I mean, theoretically, we could do 3 if we had something next month, you know what I mean?
Right, that's why I did it, so beginning, or 4 members beginning November 20th, which is the
next
start,
board
so.
meeting.
I think we need to leave it this way because that won't take place until November 20th.
Which is the date of our next board meeting, right?
Yeah. Because from 3 to 4 is the 5-member board to a 7-member board.
Well, but I see what he's saying.
We probably won't have anything.
Right.
But,
And then it'll be in there. So if some act of God, we look at these policies and procedures next month, and there's something controversial on here, and 3 people out of the newly 7 people are in favor of this,
No.
then it'd be a vote of 3 members.
No, it's.
no, because
or
it says
be-
4
or
members
4
beginning
members.
November
Which,
20th.
or would be a option, in my opinion.
Oh,
It is an
And so what-
option, but
Right.
it says begin.
No,
You
then
might
let's take-
remove the word or.
Okay.
yeah, let's take the or. It was meant to say the 3 members until,
Okay, perfect, yep. Then I think that covers it. Then I don't think we need to revisit it again either then.
Okay.
Shouldn't it be trustees?
we don't have, no, it'd be board members.
What they're saying, like, that's we need 4.
Of course, the word board isn't in there.
It's not 4 members.
Yeah.
Right.
Any other discussion? Chair would entertain a motion.
Move to approve the policies and procedures amendments, proposed resolution 2024-24.
Motion by Winchester. Steve? There you go. Mr. Ruth's last act.
That's right.
Support of,
Make sure it's recorded.
it's right here. Okay. Any further discussion on proposed resolution 2024-24? None appearing. Roll call, please.
Winchester,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
Burton,
Yes.
Ruth,
Yes.
Cullis.
Yes, motion carries 5-0. Now, before we go to our last public comment, I see that Commissioner Hoffman has arrived. I'll give you the podium. Bob Hoffman, Oakland County.
All of you, for your public service and dedication to the community. I just want to talk to a couple things about what's going on. And Steve knew that he was retiring. A couple things going on at the county, and I titled this one, "Don't Be Fooled." Everything in life is about percentages. When inflation increases to 10% or more, we are all concerned about paying more, from everything from food to fuel. When mortgage interest rates go above 7%, we worry about being able to purchase a home. Recently, the Oakland County Board of Commissioners voted to put a ballot proposal on the November 5th ballot to raise the Parks and Recreation millage by 85%. Yes, you heard me right. They want an 85% increase. The current millage does not expire until 2029, but if the millage passes on November 5th, 2024, it will replace this current millage, and then it will be extended for another 20 years compared to the 10 years that this millage exists now. This new millage will raise $24 million the first year, and I say the first year because under Proposal A, we all know our property taxes go up every year the rate of inflation, or 5%, whatever is lower. The last 2 years, we know our property taxes have gone up 5%. This year, they're projected to go up again another 3%. The $24 million is on top of the $28 million in property taxes already being paid to support the parks. The county tells us that the average homeowner will only pay an additional $45 more the first year. Don't forget the effects of Proposal A. There are over 30,000 acres of farmland in Oakland County, industrial land, commercial, and apartments. These properties will pay the majority of this 85% increase. We all know these property tax increases will be passed on in higher costs and rents. I constantly hear from fellow commissioners about how difficult it is to purchase a home, and the government should create a program to assist home buyers. This is a common problem. The government creates a problem, then they want to create a program to use more taxpayer money to fix the problem that they created. And I've always supported the parks, but enough is enough, and I will be voting no on this 85% increase. And I just realized too that Chris Ward sent a thing promoting the parks. And the county exec sends out notices. He's got a big mailing list or email list, and they use the word renew. They don't say renew the tax. They just use the word renew, so they plant that seed in your head. But you know, if they're being open, honest, and transparent, just tell us it's 85%. Let us decide. There's only 6 Republicans left on the board, and 3 of them voted to put it on the ballot. And a couple of them said, well, the people have a right to decide. I go, of course they have a right to decide. But you think the administration is going to stand up and say this is 85% increase? Okay, another thing that's going on in the county, you probably read about this in the paper. At the recent county board meeting, the chairman of the board, Dave Woodward, and I think someone else were at some kind of convention in Washington, D.C. They ran into a company named Savi, S-A-V-I, and that company's job is to take college graduates by the hand and teach them or show them how they can get out of the contract they signed to pay their tuition. And I stood up and I said, number one, it's not the role of county government to take $500,000, that's what they voted to do, and hire this company to help people get out of their debt. And we were told the average college debt is about $34,000, $35,000 a year. Well, nowadays, that's just a car payment, or not even an expensive car. You know, it's like, I'm sure all of us here did. We worked 2 jobs. I paid my way. I had nobody help me. And anyway, I'm preaching to the choir, I know. Another thing that's happened at the county is the administration decided to buy the 2 Ottawa towers in Pontiac. They were owned by General Motors. One was 100% vacant. The other was 40% vacant. The one that has 60% occupancy is, a lot of it's owned by, or used by, government agencies. Senator Gary Peters has an office there. Secretary of State has some kind of office there, and I don't know some of the other ones. But we paid $19.2 million for it. And I stood up and I said, do you know who does the assessing in Pontiac? Oakland County does. Do you know that we have those the market value on those 2 buildings combined, $10 or $12 million? Well, we're going to spend $19.2 million of the taxpayer money? Oh yeah, but we got an appraisal. One was 19.4 and one, sure, I bet I could get an appraisal too. You know, it doesn't make any sense, and they call this economic development. But on top of the $19.2 million we spent, we're spending another $100 million to rehab, fix the buildings, and again, they call it economic development. And I asked them, how is this going to help the city of Pontiac? You're buying 2 big office buildings, paid more than they're worth, and you're taking them off the tax rolls. Tell me how's that going to help Pontiac and the schools and everything? And then they think that people are going to, they're going to move like 600 and some employees over there. And I think the real plan is to get rid of the L. Brooks Patterson Administration Building. And I jokingly said to one of the county execs, I said, so we're going to move the L. Brooks Patterson building to Pontiac, and we're still going to call it L. Brooks Patterson. And the guy said, Well, I'd like to be there when you make that suggestion. Like, that's not gonna go anywhere. But, and they think that the employees that are being moved there will go downtown and there's probably a few restaurants down there, but they're also putting a brand new cafeteria in that Ottawa Tower. So, I mean, how many people are gonna leave to go to lunch? And I would think if they did, they'd go south into Bloomfield because there's more options. There is one benefit, though, for the city of Pontiac, is that the people working in the Brooks Patterson Administration Building in Waterford, so when they move into Pontiac, they will be paying, I think it's 0.5% city income tax. But you can mark my word that the county will up their pay to offset that tax, because they kind of have a habit of doing that. I thank you for your time. Your tax dollars at work.
All right, thank you. Anyone else for public comment? None appearing?
Oh, we have one.
Oh, Mary, I looked right at you.
Mary Blanchard, 3444 Old Creek Drive, Holly, Michigan. I would like to thank Steve Ruth also for his 20 years of service. Thank you. Also, the consultants for Eagle, WSP, were out on the Falk Road dump this past week and doing some work. Also, the Village of Holly with their $100,000 grant from the state of Michigan in the last couple weeks have been out and were removing trees and bushes to be able to install the cyclone fence. I did send a note by email to the village manager, clerk, also to the DPW, and the Eagle representative, or site lead, and the MPART lead, Director Abby Hendershot, stating that those workers were not wearing any kind of masks, and I was concerned about their health and safety in stirring up the air along with the soil and water, and did not hear anything back. So, thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else for public comment? Mr. Ruth, one last time, we do appreciate your service. Stop back and heckle us from the audience
Yeah.
from time to time.
There you go.
We look forward to seeing you. Next month is going to be an exciting opportunity for Holly Township. We are moving from a 5-member board to a 7-member board. We have 5 candidates that are running for those 4 positions, and I think we've got a very good class of applicants to pick from, and I'm going to look forward to working with whoever those 4 people are. That being said, I'm going to look at closing this meeting at 7:10.